Welcome. You are in the lab room. I'm your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 12, National Football League, Carolina Panthers traveling out to Sun Life Field to take on the Miami Dolphins. Dolphins with a huge win a week ago to really salvage their season once again. Backs were against the wall against the San Diego Chargers. They find a way to get it done, put themselves square in the middle of that hectic AFC wildcard race. And so at 5-5 in this game, they really had a chance to do something that a lot of the teams in that race wouldn't be able to say and lay claim to at the end of week number 12. And that's say, hey, I'm in this wildcard race and I'm over 500. What about you? Hey, nobody else in the AFC in the wildcard hunt is over 500. Everybody's 5-6, 4-7. So a win here by the Dolphins at home would put them at 6-5 and looking down at everybody else in the AFC wildcard hunt. So huge win, huge game for the Dolphins at home versus a a piping hot Carolina Panthers football team riding a 7-game winning streak. And this is a trap game. Every single week has a trap in it. Don't get caught in it. This is one of those games you overlook the team in front of you because the game coming up next on the schedule means so much. And so it's easy to overlook a team, skip over that game, prepare for the other team mentally, and walk into a trap. Boom! The trap slaps shut, and you're in it, and you can't get away, and you lose the football game you have no business losing. That easily could have happened to the Carolina Panthers in this football game. I wanted to see if they could avoid stepping on one of those booby traps, because this is a good Dolphins football team. Don't let the 5-5 record fool you. This is a team that can get after the quarterback. They play solid defense. If Ryan Tannehill isn't turning it over, if he's not on his back, which I thought would be the difference in this game. No Charles Johnson, keep in mind, he was injured last week against New England, not going to play in this game. That's going to take away from a bit of that pass rush. But I expected the Panthers to still be able to put pressure on the most sacked quarterback in the National Football League, Ryan Tannehill. But if they could protect him, maybe, just maybe, and this was asking a lot versus this vaunted Carolina Panthers defense, but maybe just get a semblance of the run game. Maybe sprinkle in a little bit of Daniel Thomas, maybe bust off a little Lamar Miller run here or there. Maybe you could sneak away with the W. This team is capable in Miami. So if you're Carolina, don't overlook anybody. Come out, play just as much good football as you have the last 2 weeks. Come out with the same intensity, the same mentality, and get a W on the road versus a tough Dolphins football team. So let's see how this Week 12 matchup unfolded from the eyes of me, Louie T. So 7-3, Carolina out to Miami, South Beach, taking their talents to South Beach against the 5-5 Miami Dolphins. Carolina D strikes early with the pick by Josh Thomas on a tip drill. That was a hot potato. You don't see that happen too often where, a pass is tipped, then it's tipped again, and 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 it's finally picked up. I mean, the ball probably touched about 4 different hands. It was probably tipped a total of 5 times on this play before it was finally corralled by Josh Thomas and picked off. Carolina Panthers in business early on in this football game. This is what this defense has done all season long. Created turnovers, short fields for this Carolina Panthers offense, and they've usually cashed in on those miscues of the other team. However, Dolphins blocked a Graham Gano field goal attempt, so it's still scoreless. And honestly, I wasn't sure if it was a block. It looked like it came out low. Later on, we find out that the Dolphins weren't credited with a block. They just called it a Graham Gano miss because he kicked it so low. It ended up hitting the back of one of his blockers, one of the offensive linemen. But I want to give the Dolphins credit on that too because he was bull rushed and pushed back. And Gano just didn't get it off the ground. And it's not like it was a 54-yarder and it had to come out low. This was a 37, 34-yard field goal. I mean, something that you get up in the air and it goes through the uprights. But not on this particular play. Didn't go through. And so it's still a 0-0 football game. I've been talking about Ted Ginn Jr. all year long. I've been so amazed at the impact he's had on this football team because, like I said, earlier in the year, I was giving a lot of Panthers fans some flack because of them signing Ted Ginn. Because if you listen to the Panthers fans talk in the offseason, they were ecstatic about Ted Ginn Jr. and what he could bring to the table. I'm like, you do realize this is Ted Ginn Jr., right? You do realize that he'll help you on special teams, but probably won't do much else to help your football team. I mean, he's Ted Ginn Jr. Straight line speed, not the most agile guy, but you let him run straight. Not many guys going to catch him from behind, but he's Ted Ginn Jr. That's what I kept saying. But Ted Ginn Jr. has been the difference on special teams. He's been a difference maker on offense. Ted Ginn Jr. has been a big contributor to this Carolina Panthers football team this year. And here he goes again with a monster punt return. Sets up a 52-yard Graham Gano field goal. It's 3-0 Carolina early in this game. So it looks like the Panthers are starting to establish themselves. Defensively, they're getting it done. However, you know the motto. Field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. Unless you're the Carolina Panthers or the Kansas City Chiefs. Then you could probably win with a couple of field goals. But you got to get in the end zone. You had an opportunity with the turnover early in the game. You didn't do anything. This Dolphins defense early in this game, getting pressure on Cameron Newton. They were really coming after him, and they were really making him uncomfortable. And it was funny because as athletic as Cam is, they were making him look really slow out there. I mean, guys were chasing him down from behind. And look, the Dolphins have some athletes in their own right. Cameron Wake and Deion Jordan and Jared Albright. Don't sleep on him. He's a lot faster than you would think. I mean, he's a big defensive lineman, but he can move. And so they were running after him, and they were making life uncomfortable for him early in this game. And so it's only a 3-0 lead, even though Carolina has somewhat dominated this game early on. They only have 3 points to show for it, and the Dolphins are playing some solid football. So we've got a game on our hands. Mike Wallace catches a bomb. 53 yards. This was underthrown by Ryan Tannehill, however, but Mike Wallace reels it in, gets in the end zone. It's 7-3. Let's talk about this for a second. I've been talking about this all year long, and I've been talking with some Dolphins fans, and it's not all Ryan Tannehill. It's not all Mike Wallace. It's been a collaborative effort on their parts to not make this thing successful this season in Miami. Whether it's Tannehill overshooting him, throwing it too short, Wallace not coming out. And look, I was talking to somebody online, and he was like, Mike Wallace doesn't go up for the ball. That's not Mike Wallace's thing. That's not what he does. It's not in his DNA to go up, high point the football, and come down with it. Mike Wallace is a speedster. What he does is he uses his speed to get behind the defense, take the top off the defense, and you lay it out there, let him run under it, and he walks into the end zone. That's what he does best. He's not a 6'2", 6'3", physical specimen that you throw it up to like a Vincent Jackson, and he goes up and makes a play on a football. That's not his MO, so he's not high-pointing the football. He's not going to go up and reach up over a defender and catch it, put his nutsacks on their helmets and come down with the ball. Not Mike Wallace, not who he is. 60 minutes, runs right by you, you throw it up, he runs under it, he's already got 3 steps on the defender, he walks in the end zone, and Ryan Tannehill, for some odd reason, can't seem to lay it out there as if he's going to overthrow. You can't overthrow it. Don't be cute, don't be pretty, be good. Put the ball out there, and I'd much rather overthrow my receiver than underthrow him. Because when you underthrow him, you allow the defender back into the play. Who knows what's going to happen? If the defender is looking, he could pick it up. If he's not looking and you underthrow it, maybe you get pass interference. Maybe your receiver comes down with it, like he did on this play. But if you overthrow it, maybe, just maybe, Mike will run under it. He's got world-class speed. Let him run and go catch the football. So, he got lucky. I mean, Tannehill has been like this all season long where he just can't seem to find that happy medium. He won't put the knob on 5 right in the middle. He puts the knob either on 2 or it's on 9. It's never on 5, right where it needs to be. Right in the middle. It's never right there. It's always too far or too short. Well, this time it was too short. Luckily enough for him, Mike Wallace had beat the defender, Captain Munnerlyn, so bad on this play that by the time he underthrew it and Captain finally caught up, he had no idea where the football was. Mike could go up, get the football, get away and re-accelerate from Captain Munnerlyn getting the end zone. So big play by the Dolphins. That's what they need. If they're going to beat Carolina, that's what they're going to have to do. The one weakness of this Carolina Panthers defense, the secondary. You can get after their secondary if you got time. That's normally the problem. You normally don't have the time because that front seven is peeling on your quarterback. But without Charles Johnson, it's a one-man wrecking crew. I mean, you still can get pressure from the defensive tackles, but it's not the same when you're used to 2 and you've been reduced to 1. So it's 7-3. Big play by Tannehill. Big play by Mike Wallace. You're on the board. 7-3 Dolphins. After a successful Dolphins challenge on a Cam Newton scramble, Tannehill hooks up with Wallace once again, this time for 57 yards. Once again, underthrown. And again, if you're going to underthrow the football to a guy that's wide open, it's so maddening because you're taking points off the board, just like in this situation. If Tannehill lays this out, I'm talking about a 14-3 lead for the Dolphins instead of a 10-3 lead for the Dolphins. Again, field goals don't win games. Guess what does? Guess. Go ahead, guess. Touchdowns do. That's right. Touchdowns. They win games. Yeah, they do. Ask anybody around the league. They'll tell you touchdowns win. Field goals do not. And after this 57-yarder, you had to settle for a field goal. You know why you had to settle for the field goal? Because you did not lay it out there and allow Mike Wallace to go and get it. He had to wait for it. He gets tackled. And again, he was about 3 or 2, maybe even 4 steps behind the defense this time. And again, he had to wait on the football. And again, he had to make an adjustment. This time wasn't as fortunate as the first time. He didn't get away. He didn't get away this time. So now it's 10-3 instead of 14-3. That's going to come back to bite your butt right there. But you're still leading in this game, and defensively, you're really getting after the Panthers' offensive unit. So you're playing good football. I mean, you are dominating this game now. And just to give you a little bit of background on how dominant you have been throughout this first half, Tannehill had over 200 yards passing in the first half. I mean, he and Mike Wallace had more receiving yards than the Panthers did total yards offensively. That's how good you had it in the first half. Let's continue on with this first half, though. Good defense and nice catch and run by Brian Hartline leads to a Khalib Sturgis field goal. It's 13-3. Once again, Ryan Tannehill dominating this defense that's not getting pressure because they're missing Charles Johnson. Hey, I can block one, okay? A lot of teams around the league, they've got one. You know, you can chip one. You can't chip two. You can't focus on two. You start trying to double team two, then you're taking guys out of the passing routes. Now it's max protect. You only got 2-man routes. Now it's a lot easier. And when you got one, hey, I can chip one. I can double team one. I can take two and put one to sleep. I can put Mr. Hardy to sleep. But when you got two, it's a lot tougher to deal with. So, good defense by this Dolphins football team. And Tannehill's got time, surprisingly enough. But it makes sense. He's got time. And now it's 13-3. Again, another field goal. But look, at this point, the way your defense is playing, keep stacking up these field goals. Maybe you got to win this game with 6 field goals. So be it. Maybe you got to kick 5 of them bad boys. Stack them up like bricks. Hope it's enough to get you the W. But at some point, you really would like to get touchdowns. Because, again, you're playing a really good Carolina Panthers football team. One turnover, one Ted Ginn Jr. punt return or kickoff return, or one Cam Newton and Steve Smith hookup, this game could be changed in an instant. So while these field goals are helping you pad your lead, one of these field goals probably should have been a touchdown. Probably should have been a touchdown. Make you feel a lot more comfortable about this lead because you dominated this first half. Let's face it. On the ensuing play, Cam is picked off by Nolan Carroll. What a play by Nolan Carroll. He's in cover 3. He's got the outside third. He sees a wide open Brandon LaFell over the middle of the field, and he comes off of his coverage, comes over the middle of the field, picks it off. Cam never saw him because, again, that wasn't his zone he was in. He was supposed to have outside third, deeper than the deepest. He sees B-Fell over the middle, wide open, uncovered. Don't know where the safety was on that play. He was supposed to be over the middle. And it was going to be a huge game for the Panthers. And Nolan Carroll comes and swoops in and picks it off. Great play. And he gets an absolutely fabulous return on the play. And then you tack on a Byron Bell personal foul penalty. Dolphins are in business. But after all of that, I mean, great return. You get a personal foul on the end of that. It still only adds up to another field goal by Khalib Sturgis. So it's 16-3, but again, here we go. Another opportunity to get 7. You settle for 3. Credit this Carolina Panthers defense, okay? They kept you out of the end zone, and that's what good teams do. They find a way to keep their team in the game until they can strike. And so, if you're the Dolphins, you feel really good about 16-3. Hell, I feel magnificent about 16-3 if I'm the Dolphins. Let's keep it that way before the half. Let's not give up anything because this field goal, and Luke Kuechly has 9 lives because he could have easily been flagged at the end of that Patriots game. They pick it up. He could have easily been flagged on this play for helmet to helmet, and he should have been, but they picked it up, and so they had to settle for a field goal. So Panthers get a break. And look, when you're a good football team, you got to get breaks along the way. That's always a part of a team being good. You get breaks. You get breaks when you're a good team. The difference between the Panthers at 8-3, or as in this case coming into this game at 7-3, and a team like maybe the Buffalo Bills, breaks. You breaks. Buffalo hasn't gotten enough of them. Panthers have. I mean, the Panthers play great defense. The Bills play great defense at home. So breaks separates teams in this league. It's a real fine line between really good teams and mediocre teams. And breaks and luck are all part of the mystique that makes teams really good in this league. You got another break. Luke Kuechly easily could have been flagged for that helmet-to-helmet contact. It was helmet-to-helmet contact. But picked it up. Dolphins settled for a field goal, 16-3. To me, this is where the game started to change right here. Panthers move it down the field. And if you're the Dolphins, you can't give up points before the half here. No. You've played too well. You've kicked too many field goals. You've built this lead up to 13. You can't give them anything before the half. No momentum, nothing. You let the Panthers move it down the field, and you got them right where you want them. Right where you want them. They don't have any more timeouts. And you just sacked Cam Newton. You send the pressure after him. He's about to take another sack. Ball's fumbled on the play. Bad snap. He picks it up. Pressure's coming. And he looks up, and guess who's out in the flats all by him lonesome? All by his lonesome. B-Fell. What the hell was the defense doing on this play? I mean, Cam picks it up. Pressure's coming. He just lost it out. I'm thinking B-Fell is going to catch it, maybe get 3, 4, maybe 5 at the most yards. Then 2 Dolphin defenders are going to appear in my television screen, and he's going to have to run out of bounds. And then you're going to have to try a 59-yard Graham Gano field goal and hope he makes it. Nope. Cam flips it over the defensive line and the pressure that's coming. B-Fell catches it, and he starts running and running and running and running. Where the hell is the Dolphins defense at? And then he gets out of bounds 26 yards later. How the hell do you let that happen? With 1 second left. Really? Where's the defense? What kind of defense is that? I want to know. I want to know that you can throw a simple pass out into the flats and run for 26 yards when you know they need a chunk and they need to get out of bounds. Where's the psychological sense in that, player? You need to wash your face. What are you doing? So Graham Gano gets to attempt a 46-yard field goal, and you know Graham is going to knock it home, and now it's 16-6. What you've just done is you've made a monumental mistake, Miami. What you've done Because guess who gets the football after halftime? You'll never guess. No, not the Dolphins. You don't get it after the half. The Panthers do. What you've just done is you've given them confidence right before the half. Momentum has just jumped ship right before the half. All the goodwill you've done in the first half, it's not totally erased. You're still up 10. But guess what? They got momentum now, and they're going to take that momentum out of the half, and they're going to drive down the field. I guarantee it. Watch this. Like George Foreman, I guarantee it. They're going to take that football moving right down the field because they're coming out of the locker room with a sense of hope now. Man, they were hopeless in that first half. They were being dominated thoroughly. Defensively, offensively, they were getting it done. The Dolphins were getting it done. And now you let them do that right before the half. And again, you kicking all these field goals. At some point, they're going to come back to bite you. So here we go, second half. Balanced drive by the Panthers yields them a TD to start the second half. Huge fourth down conversion in Dolphins territory. Mike Tolbert. What can you say? The bowling ball did his thing. That's what he does. You know, Cam Newton running the football. That's what he does. This team is ferocious with that running game. And they got some big guys. Cam, big guy. Bowling ball, big guy. Jonathan Stewart, big guy. Hard to bring these guys down. So they pick up that fourth down conversion. They end up getting in the end zone. It's 13-16. Guess what they just scored? Touchdown. See what I'm talking about? These touchdowns. You scored how many times? Let's count how many times you scored in the first half. Touchdown to Mike Wallace, 1. Field goal, 2. Field goal, 3. Field goal, 4. You scored 4 times in the first half. Only 16 points to show for it. These guys scored 3 times. They got 13 points. So they're right on your heels. One more score by them via touchdown, and they're winning. Same amount of times they scored as you, 4, but they'll be winning. You know why? Because they would have scored 2 touchdowns. You only scored 1. So the importance of scoring touchdowns. Field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. I'm not saying. I'm just saying. So you're still leading, and you've still been playing some solid football. But again, that field goal before the half changed the game. So Tannehill misses a wide open Mike Wallace down the field. Oh, no! Come on, man. Tannehill, you got to stop with this, man. Wide open Mike Wallace. Down the field by himself. Captain Munnerlyn got smoked. Burnt to a crisp. You missed him. You missed him. And that's the difference between winning and losing in this league. You don't get opportunities every game. And you had numerous opportunities. You don't get this every game. This is why you went out and you signed Mike Wallace right here for games like this, where you got an opportunity to take advantage of a really good defense because they're hurting and run by them. They're used to getting pressure. They're used to teams not being able to push the ball down the field. They don't have that this game. So it's your job to use the $63 million man and ride him to a victory. And he did his job. And Ryan Tannehill, this time, the knob, it wasn't on 2 like it was earlier in the game. It was on 9. He just overshot him by like 5 or 6 yards. Damn it, man. Come on, Ryan. Got to punt the football. Then, Khalid Sturgis misses from 53 yards. It's still 16-13. So even when you start getting a little bit of something going, you can't capitalize. You miss a field goal. And this is a good team you're playing against in the Carolina Panthers. You can't miss opportunity. I told you, look, if you're going to try to make this a field goal fest, stack them up like bricks. Fine. If you're going to try to win this game with 5 field goals and 1 touchdown, so be it. Make your field goals there. Don't miss them. Because if you miss just 1, that could be the outcome in this game. And as we'll find out later, you sure could have used that field goal at the end of the game. So, it's still 16-13. You're allowing the Panthers to hang around. You've done nothing. You haven't scored since the first half. And the Panthers are just hanging around. And this is what good teams do. They just hang around, and give themselves a chance to steal it at the end. That's all they're looking to do. At this point, they're not playing their best football. They know this is going to be a tough win on the road. If we're going to win this game, we're going to have to gut this one out. We're going to have to find a way to scratch, claw, and find a way to get it done at the very end of this game. We're going to have to maybe get a couple of crucial stops, maybe convert some crucial fourth downs. We're going to find a way to win. And again, don't be pretty. Don't be cute. Be good. It's not always going to be pretty. It's not always going to be cute. Not always going to beat up on your opponent 33-10. Sometimes you got to go on the road and win ugly. And this is one of those games. If you're Carolina, find a way to win. This is what scares me about this Panthers team, because you'll go and you'll have a game like you had against New England where you got to play your best, and you did, and you won. But every now and again, Cam will come out, not be all that sharp, throw some interceptions like he did in this game, throw a pick, and the offense just would be a little stale and stagnant. And if you're playing a better team, you probably won't win this game. But the Dolphins, not quite sure how to win yet. That's why they're 5-5. They win one, they lose one. They're not really quite sure since the beginning of the season when they started out 3-0. Not really sure how to hang on to victories. They proved it in this game. So it's 16-13. We're deep into the fourth quarter now. Panthers, they realize the writing's on the wall. We got to make something happen, and we got to do it now. And the Riverboat Gambler goes for it on 4th and 10 from his own 20 with 2:33 left in the football game. This was ballsy right here by the Riverboat Gambler himself, Ron Rivera. Look, he's transformed right in front of our eyes. Remember Ron last year? The scared Ron, the one that's shaking in his boots, 4th and 10. He's punting his football, man. Are you crazy? Go for it. My own 20? Down 3? Are you crazy? I'm punting the football. The Ron this year, hey, man, go for it. Y'all stay on the field. You stay on the field. Go stay on the field. Y'all go ahead. Go for it. Ron is crazy this year. I love it, man. I love aggressive head coaches. I'll never get mad at a coach for being over-aggressive unless it doesn't make sense. It made sense in this situation because your defense is so good, and what have you done all game anyway? You forced the Dolphins to kick field goals. So even if you turn it over on downs, you got the 2-minute warning, you got 2 timeouts in your back pocket, you feel like, hey, worst case scenario, I turn it over on downs at my own 20, my defense comes out and do what they've done all game, hold these guys to a field goal. We still need a touchdown, which we need one now to win anyway. We still need a touchdown to win. So just go down the field and get the touchdown anyway. So the logic was there. As long as it makes sense and you're not just going for it just to go for it, as long as you got a backup plan in mind, I don't mind you going for it. I don't mind you being aggressive. That's what Ron Rivera is now. He can't, I always make fun of him for that quote he had. Hey, you know what I found out in my coaching as a head coach? Touchdowns are much better than field goals. I'll start trying to score those. Yeah, they are, Ron. And ever since he said that, Ron has been going for it on 4th down. He's like, man, I ain't got nothing to lose. To hell for it. To hell with it. I'm going for it, And sure enough, his team has not let him down on 4th downs. They've come out and backed his play every single step of the way. 4th and 10, on 20, 2:33 remaining. Steve Smith, man, it must feel good to be a gangster. Comes up with a huge grab. Catches the foot, and this was a big time throw by Cameron Newton. Look up in the sky. It's a bird. It's the plane. Nope, it's number 1. And Cam is his name. Super Cam! Open it up. That was a big-time throw. That was a game-changing, top-choice, grade A QB throw. Had to have it. Had to stick it in between 2 defenders on 4th down. And what else can I say about Steve Smith? I mean, damn. Must feel good to be a gangster. He catches it, bounces off 2 defenders, and gets up the field for about 19 yards. Man, what a play on 4th and 10. That right there, that let me know they're about to go down the field and win this game. Right there. That was a huge play. 1, for your coach to have confidence deep in his own territory to go for it. And 2, for Cam to make that type of throw. And 3, for you guys to actually come up and make that play. Wow, that said a lot for me. So, big play. Panthers then proceed to drive 61 more yards in 1 minute and 40 seconds. as Cam finds Greg Olsen in the back of the end zone for a 1-yard touchdown. It's 20-16. 4 scores for the Panthers, 4 scores for the Dolphins. 2 touchdowns, 2 field goals for Carolina, nets you 20. 1 touchdown, 3 field goals for the Dolphins, nets you 16. That's your difference in the ball game right now. Field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. So, Dolphins back against the wall with about 43 seconds left in this game. You got a little bit of time. You don't have any timeouts, but you got a little bit of time. What you going to do with it? First of all, I'm disappointed in Carolina. The one guy that can beat you at the end of this football game is 60 minutes. Mike Wallace. So, if I'm the Panthers, I got bracket coverage on this dude. Wherever he goes, I got 3 defenders with him. I got 1 over the top, and this guy is ridiculously over-exaggerated over the top. I'm talking about a guy 60 yards off the ball. I'm not, just stupid. Just a guy that's just 40 yards off the ball. Like Mike isn't running by this guy. Then I got a defender at the line of scrimmage chucking him, trying to make it hard for him to get up the field. And then I got another defender about 20 yards over the ball, kind of shadowing and spying Mike Wallace. That's how I'm playing this. So, whatever happens, Mike Wallace won't be involved. He's the only guy at this point that can beat me. With no timeouts, you got to go to the length of the field. Only guy that can stop me from winning this game. And what do the Panthers do? They leave a safety, Mike Mitchell, in one-on-one coverage with Mike Wallace. Are you kidding me? What are you doing? Oh, my God! And if Ryan Tannehill could finally put that knob on 5 or 6, your ass would have been grass. But, as it's been the case all season, Ryan's either on 2 or he's got the knob on 9. On this one, the knob was on 8, just slightly too far for Mike to run under. Damn it, man, you just missed it. They almost got you. Mike almost got you for a 60-yard bomb to beat you. Boy, that would have hurt. That would have stung. But they couldn't connect. It just wasn't their day. And again, when you're a good football team, you get breaks. You got another break. And so you found a way to win this game. But I'm telling you what, you lived really dangerously in this game. But you find a way, you get the sack to close out the win. You win this game 20-16. That's what good teams do. You find a way to win games, especially on the road, where it's going to be tough. You know teams are going to come after you. It's going to be a tough sledding. But it's not always going to be pretty. You know, not every game you're going to play Tampa Bay. Not every game you're going to play Minnesota and be able to beat up on them. Sometimes you got to go on the road and you got to gut one out. And this is a tough Miami Dolphins football team. And they played you tough for 4 quarters. But you were able to come out with the victory. You're the better team. You were supposed to win. You went in, you took care of business. And you got it done at the end. Kudos to the Panthers. This was a trap game. You almost got caught in the trap. But not quite. Almost doesn't count. Almost doesn't count. Yeah, Brandy told me that a long time ago. Almost doesn't count. So, you got the win. And that's all that matters. Get the win. 20-16, you go to 8-3 on the season. Now you got another big one next week. Tampa Bay playing some really good football. And they just went on the road and beat Detroit. Some family business. They're coming to your place. Take care of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and set the stage for that monumental Sunday night. And I asked for this one. I went out and I said, look, NBC, NFL, get together. Put your brains together. I don't care which one. I need one of those Sunday night. I need one of those games. In that 3-week stretch between the Panthers and the Saints, I need one of those games on Sunday night. I don't care which one. Bank of America, Superdome, I don't care. Mercedes-Benz, whatever the hell they call it now. I don't care which one. Pick a game, put it on Sunday night. I need one of those. They said, I got you. How about we give you the one in New Orleans? Fine, I don't care. That's going to be a big one. But you can't overlook Tampa Bay. They're playing some good football. And you got them the first time and you embarrassed them at home. They want this one. Got to go out and get those guys. So that'll be interesting. So you're 8-3. Big win. You get it done on the road. If you're the Dolphins, damn it, man. You had a shot. You should have won this game. You played good enough to win, and you pissed it away. The simple fact that Khalid Sturgis couldn't connect, Ryan Tannehill couldn't connect with Mike Wallace essentially all game. He missed him about 3 times. He connected him with him twice, underthrew him twice, overshot him about 3 times. Had opportunities to get in the end zone, had to settle for field goals, just couldn't get it done. You didn't play well enough. You played well enough to win. You didn't do enough to win. That was the problem. You played well enough to win. You just didn't do enough to win. And you had a chance to do something that nobody else in the AFC could have laid claim to. Go to 6-5 and say, hey, I'm the only team up over 500 in the AFC wild card race for this 6th and final spot in the playoffs. Everybody else is 5-6 or 4-7. You could have said, hey, I'm 6-5. I ain't messing with y'all 5-6 teams. I'm by myself. Now you're right there lumped in with the rest of the crab meat called the 5-6 group in the AFC. Good luck coming out of that conglomerate in the AFC. You just lumped yourself in with everybody else. Tough loss on the road in a game that you probably should have won. Big win for the Panthers. They go to 8-3 on the season. So that's going to do it for this recap. I thank you for joining me here in the lab room. And remember, if it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Thank you for joining me. I will see you on this very program as I've got one more matchup in week number 12 of the National Football League to break down.